On the 25th of February 2022, Valve released SteamDeck, which is supposed to be the only competitor to Nintendo Switch in the market right now. And in the third quarter of this year, this August, this console arrived in my possession. Running AMD graphics on RDNA 2 and having up to half a terabyte of storage, this device weighs around half a kilogram, which raises questions about its portability and convenience of its usage. Talking about device's portability, this device is huge, and with the case which comes by the way in the box with the SteamDeck, this device becomes even bigger. I know it's a hard shell case, it's a very good one, but still, when you put the SteamDeck in the case itself is so big that sometimes it cannot fit in the bag. And I have pretty big bag by the way, and so sometimes I have to carry the SteamDeck separately in my other hand, and by the way it has the handle, the case of the SteamDeck has the handle on it, so sometimes, or in most cases, you will have to carry it separately from your other stuff, because it takes lots of place. On the plus side of the SteamDeck is ergonomics. Ergonomics of the SteamDeck is simply phenomenal, and by that I mean that it feels awesome in hand, and it's very convenient to use with only one side. Of course it wouldn't be Valve if there wouldn't be just some butt. But the only thing which you need to do is you need to put your hands against something, because otherwise your hands will get very tired, because the SteamDeck weighs something around half a kilogram, which is a lot for a portable console. For example, the Nintendo Switch weighs something around 250 grams. Of course, depending on the Nintendo Switch which we are talking about. Also, big question for Valve is the optimization. There are 4 types of games on the SteamDeck: works great, playable, unknown, and doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, it's a straightforward statement that this game isn't supported by SteamDeck, as for example it is with Half-Life Alyx, because it is a VR game only. Then there is very much questions with the playable type of games, and that's simply because playables are Battlefield, Call of Duty and the same CSGO, but I doubt very much that you would enjoy playing on the SteamDeck CSGO or Battlefield against other people, because these games are competitive shooters, and in the competitive shooters you are having there as much advantage as you can have, and when you're playing on a SteamDeck you're playing on a gamepad. Playing on a gamepad when your opponents are having mice and keyboard, so they're having already advantage against you, of course, if you're not some pro player on a gamepad, which I doubt it very much. Also, question is to optimization. For example, Red Dead Redemption 2 is labeled as playable game, but at the same time it has crashed every single time when I was playing it for more than 35 minutes. And of course, the benchmark, which is already built in the Red Dead Redemption 2, it couldn't finish every single test which I tried to run till the end. So it has crashed the game every single time. Also, it can be applied to the famous Ubisoft Store, because the Ubisoft Store, it can be installed on the SteamDeck as well, the same as other launchers, but the problem with the Ubisoft Store is that it crashes the game after approximately 15-20 minutes, and that was for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is not such a big game, so it would be unsupported by the SteamDeck. You can play Assassin's Creed Odyssey very easily, but it will crash the game and it will crash Ubisoft Store as well. Also, my personal question to the Valve is with the battery, because as soon as I have started the SteamDeck, as soon as I have opened the box and started the SteamDeck, it had 87% of battery health on a new device, factory new device, which was charged only using the original charger. And I have already 87% of battery capacity, and that's stupid, that's very stupid. That means that either you have problems with software, which shows unreliable information, or you have problems with batteries, so the time which was spent from the factory to my doorstep, it has spent the time using the battery, consuming the battery, and so right now I have the health of 87% of battery health. And the battery health, of course, on the SteamDeck isn't very amazing as well. As far as I can tell, according to my personal tests, in the AAA games such as Cyberpunk, Red Dead Redemption 2 when it was not crashing, and some other games such like Horizon Zero Dawn, you can play of something around hour and a half till 2 hours and a half, depending on the game and the brightness of the screen, and of course whether you're connected to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. I was playing all of the time using the wired headphones connected to Wi-Fi and with brightness set for around 30 to 40%. And so by doing that I had on average 2 hours of a game time. I wasn't charging and playing device because, as I said before, my battery health is already at 87% and the device is factory new right now. So I don't want to consume any more battery and I want to prolong the battery life as far as I can. Comparing to its predecessors, Valve's Steam Deck has its own unique features, much more than you can see at a first glance. And now to the positive side of the console. The positive side of the console is performance. This device performs simply perfectly, amazing performance. And this is all because of the preloaded shaders for the games from Steam, and of course powerful CPU and GPU from AMD, which also allows you to turn on AMD Fidelity, which increases the FPS in games. I, for example, have locked the FPS for 30 FPS in all of the games because 30 FPS for me personally is more than enough, but some games are showing more than 30 FPS, as for example Witcher 3 is showing something around 50 to 60 FPS during the gameplay. And other games like Horizon Zero Dawn are showing FPS of something around 30-34 FPS with occasional dropdowns to 12-14 FPS, which by the way is very annoying, especially in the battle scenes. But still, you can play it, and formally this game works perfectly on a Steam Deck, so it has a green mark. While talking about Steam Deck, you should mention SteamOS. SteamOS is an operating system of the Steam Deck and it's a Linuxoid system. Essentially, it means that you can launch the Windows games using the Proton 7.0 software, the software from Valve, which allows you to run Windows games on a Linux system. And of course, it gives you such advantage as the desktop mode, because on a Steam Deck you have two modes of usage, two official modes of usage. The first one is a console one, when you have a typical console-like gallery with your games and applications, and the second mode, desktop mode, which allows you a desktop-like experience. So by that, you can download lots of apps from the Discovery Store, which has lots of open software apps such as, for example, Obsidian, such as Blender, such as Audacity, and so on. So lots of apps which I actually use are available right there, and so you can connect your Steam Deck using the USB Type-C hub to the monitor or the TV and essentially use Steam Deck as a portable computer, which essentially, of course, it is a portable computer, but you can use it for professional tasks as well. And of course, the Valve has announced that it is working on a Type-C adapter right now, and it will be available later this year, but as far as I know, I have researched this question the whole 2 minutes on the Amazon store, and right now for $30 to $50 you can buy almost very similar device as the device which will be released from Valve later this year. Right now you can buy it from the third-party vendors on Amazon from $30 to $50. Also, a very big upside of the Steam Deck is the fact that it has microSD slots in every single type of console. It means that you can download your games on your microSD card and you can have, in theory, unlimited amount of memory and unlimited amount of games installed on different types of memory cards. So essentially, you are having the same cartridges as the Nintendo, but not with one game, but with lots of games. For example, in my version, I have had the version for 512 gigabytes. I have inserted the same 512 gigabytes memory card into the Steam Deck, and so right now I have 1 terabyte of memory available to me for my games, which I am using, and not to the full potential, because 1 terabyte for games, it is a lot. And so right now I'm playing simultaneously, something around 7 or 8 games. Also, talking about performance is very important to show the FPS. For example, Cyberpunk is running on about 30 to 40 FPS on a special SteamDeck mode of graphics. The same Horizon Zero Dawn, as I said before, is running 30 to 40 FPS as well, with occasional drops to 12 to 14 FPS in some snowy scenes with lots of small particles. Of course, it's annoying, and especially in the battle scenes, but still it's more than playable. In the Red Dead Redemption 2, you can play for around 30 to 40 FPS as well, and my favorite Witcher, you can play it on 50 FPS without AMD fidelity there. So that's simply awesome results, and it shows that AAA games will be available to play AAA games using the Steam Deck for around a year or two for sure. Also, while talking about Valve Steam Deck, it should be mentioned that Nintendo Switch is simply awful comparing with Steam Deck. Simply because Steam Deck is more powerful, Steam Deck allows you to insert a memory card, it has browser, it has video player, it allows you to use professional software, so you can use the power of this device for professional usage as well, such as Blender or Audacity. But of course, the only downside of the Steam Deck is its weight and its size. So these are the only 2 points where Nintendo Switch wins, because Nintendo Switch is much more portable and is much lighter than Steam Deck and is much more comfortable to use simply because of the weight. So summarizing my review, Steam Deck is an awesome device. Of course, it has some downsides such as weight and its size, because it's simply huge and weighs a lot, but still, it's an awesome device which shows amazing performance in the AAA games and has very much power even for some years to come. The only thing which I'd like to tell you is that the marketing of the top tier device for 512 GB, such as matte screen, is a complete marketing, because the matte screen is very much similar to a Kindle, but a little bit worse. So the matte screen is kinda okay, but still it catches glares very good. In my personal opinion, the best value for money will be Steam Deck for 256 GB, because in this device still runs SSD, and this device can be used to play AAA games, because the memory, it has more than enough memory for 1 or 2 AAA games, the big ones, and of course you can insert a micro SD card for the same 512 GB or 1 TB, and you can play the same AAA games from your micro SD. So is the Steam Deck worth its money? In my personal opinion, yes. If you can buy it for the recommended price, it's simply amazing choice, because you will be able to play AAA games on the road, during the commute, and in the places where you couldn't afford to play using some of your laptop. So Steam Deck is a perfect Linux-based operating machine which allows you to play AAA games. So in my opinion, it's more than worth it. And that's it. Thank you for being here with me. I'm Alex. See you next time.